Hi everyone, and welcome to another Atelier Nekozuki vlog. Today we are starting to tackle the studio. Dallas recently moved his desk out of the basement and into a different area in our house, so it opened up a lot of space for me. But it does mean everything has to be reorganized. And yes, Dahlia is judging. So first things first, we are going to actually put a shelf in where this table is, and so I have to clear everything off. Now, the way I organize is basically I end up going in and just shuffling everything around and then finding spaces for it later. Unless it has a specific area to live as a thing, but all of this stuff actually needs a spot to live. So that's why I'm going through and just kind of chucking it onto the cutting table, is because I need this shelf, and that's going to end up actually tidying up like 80% of what's on this table. Now I am moving the presses over to another desk. I'm actually using my old computer desk as a press desk, and that was one of the big changes that we were able to make with Dallas's desk moving out, is I took over his computer desk, and then my old computer desk is becoming the press table. So yeah, so we're going through, I'm removing everything from this table. It's just an IKEA table. I am still going to keep it in the space, but it's actually, I think, going to move into the fabric storage room, which is behind this wall basically. Just going through, and see, I'm just kind of shoving stuff out of the way because honestly, I needed to get this shelf done. The kids were both in bed, and it's just kind of like, okay, get cracking. Of course, the cats are hanging out with me. It's kind of our quiet time together as I work. I'm listening to Lo-Fi Girl on YouTube. This pegboard is both extremely useful and not. It's the Scadus from IKEA, and I honestly don't know if I'm going to keep it or not, because we would have to move that brown shelf on the left there, and I just don't know if we're up to that. That shelf is ridiculously heavy and an absolute pain to do. Those are needles from my grandma, actually, so that's why they hang out with me. She was a big crafter of a bunch of different things, and so I just have I inherited most of her craft items, I think all of them, and so I've kept some of them around my sewing studio just for like nice little mementos. So yeah, I wasn't going to remove everything from the pegboard, but I ended up removing it because I figured it's better than it falling off. And then, oh yeah, that's when I went off screen to get was a screwdriver, because the flat screwdriver from my sewing machine actually works perfect for it. Then I popped out some of the old owner's wall plugs. And then this is me taking down the Scadus. pulled the wall plugs out, obviously had massive holes, and then had a little bit of a crisis going, wait, shouldn't I just pulled the cutting table over and then put the shelf over to the left there beside the brown shelf? My ultimate decision about this was that this is actually the better space for it, and I need to probably remove that brown shelf. But you can see I had a long, good debate with myself. I was kind of like, curses, I could have just left that pegboard there, and then I wouldn't have had to do all this work. But I still think it's better to have the shelf where it is. But yeah, think. This is what happens when you have kids and you don't have like the mental energy, like the shift for the mental energy is quite a bit. Anyway, obviously I made the decision. Then I vacuumed so that there wasn't a bunch of dust underneath, and to vacuum out the drywall holes as well so that it was easier to spackle them. I cut out me struggling with the plug, putting it into the wall because, no one needs to look at my butt that long. Vacuum. There we go. Suck out the drywall holes so I don't have a bunch of dust in them. And out comes the spackling. I spent way too long on the spackling, trying to like get them filled. Now, I haven't painted over them or anything like that, but honestly, it just looks better to have them filled than have these gaping holes, even though I'm going to have a shelf in front of them. I prefer it. I probably will eventually paint the basement when the kids are a little bit older. Eventually we do want to go through and actually pull all the carpet out and everything, so I'll probably pull the carpet out and then paint. And so then when I paint, we'll go over these as well, because we're going to have to move everything to actually redo the flooring anyway. That'll help. So this is the shelf. Super exciting. I got from Costco. And then Dahlia's there inspecting. And this is just showing me and how I'm reading over the instructions. I didn't actually understand how this shelf went together. So I had to look up a YouTube video. That's what I'm coming to. I'll come towards the camera and turn it off. And that's what I'm doing, is looking it up on YouTube because the instructions didn't make sense. And this is me taking off the clips from the bottom, because the video that I saw actually had it set up so that you put the shelf on first like this, which to me made way more sense than trying to stand the shelf up. I guess I could have left the clips on the bottom, but you know what? I was putting this together at midnight, 12:30 last night, and I'm going to forgive myself for maybe not thinking like clearly about it. So this is actually a really cool system. Basically, it's these clips here. I did struggle with them, obviously, here. I didn't have them like clipped together properly. Basically, it's a little sleeve on the shelves that goes down over top of those black pieces that are flared out slightly, and that's what holds them in place on the shelf. Super cool. Now, these shelves do also have wheels, but the wheels actually restrict the weight limit on the shelf immensely. Like, I think it's like less than half what you're able to put on it with the feet. So obviously what I did is I just did the self-leveling feet. So I think the bottom rack is going to be mostly for bins like this. Then I sized it to the bin. A lot of the bins are going to actually end up going under the cutting table, but I'm going to also set the cutting table up so that I can actually suspend the interfacing that you see on the left there. Some of the interfacing, like I'm going to end up storing interfacing, canvas, lining fabrics, and stabilizers on this shelf, as well as probably a couple bins, just because I got to use as much space as I can. However, this shelf also does use this space really well because it utilizes the vertical space. Now, I don't know if that's how the bolts are going to sit on the shelf or not. The original plan was actually to lay them lengthwise or widthwise, I guess. But I really like how they actually look on their ends like that. It would also create less pressure points. Yeah, I was going to actually put them like that. But here's the thing, is that takes up a lot more space in some ways. and it would create a lot more creasing in the actual fabric. Now, for the creasing, what I'm going to end up doing is I will actually put some cardboard down on these shelves so that it doesn't crease the fabric as much, hopefully. Now, granted, I should be using up this canvas quick enough that it shouldn't really be a problem, but you never know. I'll probably also pull out the lining fabrics, like that beige and white one that I have there, and put it on these shelves. Right now they're living in the back bedroom, which is the fabric storage room, and honestly, if I can free up some cubbies, that's going to be a lot more useful than not having it on these shelves. Plus, then it also gives me a better visual on what I actually have. Now, yes, these will get a little bit dustier and all of that, but honestly, the way they're stored in the back room as well, it's the same thing. So they may as well be out where I can see them. They will not get a lot of direct sunlight, which is good because we've got blinds on all the windows downstairs. There's the last shelf going in. Now, the one thing I do have to do is I do still have to secure this to the wall. That's what I'm going to go do after I get this voiceover done. Because obviously with the kids and the cats, it just, I can't risk that, obviously. So, take down the degree, get out of here. You're not useful to this process. Funny thing about that is it's my English degree, and yeah, it is not very useful to this process. Alright, I was like, I could have just left the wall anchors in and like anchored it instead of spackling, and here I am trying to struggle to get the self-leveling feet on the shelf itself. I do not recommend this. They were like, there's self-leveling feet, and I could not find it, but they're actually little separate like feet pieces that the foot bolts sit in. Anyway, it's super stable. I decided at that point that I was just like, no, I'm good, it'll be fine. Now I'm putting the nylon strapping on. What I'm going to do is basically I punched holes in the wall with my awl, and yeah, once I'm done recording this, like I said, I'll go downstairs and actually secure it to the wall so that's not falling over on me or the kids or the cats. My general rule right now is that I'm going to try and not work when the kids are like awake or around, but they are sick, so that's not going to work right now. And it's like I'm going to put them on 2 different layers because that to me means that it'll be a bit more stable. There's me punching holes in the wall with my awl. You can see Flynn over on the left there, just in the very back. And then I dithered trying to get the wall anchors in for like far longer than I needed to, so I'm going to use a different set of wall anchors today. And this is what the shelf looks like today. Thanks for joining me. Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe, like, and share with any of your friends you think would also enjoy it. Thank you.